Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learning English with Podcast Conversation. I'm your host, Tony, and today we have a fantastic topic that I think many of you, our wonderful listeners, can relate to. It's a question we often ask ourselves, especially in this busy modern world. Do you work to live, or do you live to work? To help us explore this fascinating question, I'm delighted to welcome our special guest today, Jenny. Jenny, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Tony. It's absolutely wonderful to be here. I'm really excited about this topic, actually, because it's something I've thought about a lot in my own life, and I'm sure many people listening right now have too. It's a very fundamental question about how we spend our time and energy and what really motivates us. I think it touches on our values and what we prioritize in life, whether it's career success or personal happiness and experiences outside of work. So yeah, I'm ready to dive in.
Excellent. So let's start with the basics. When we talk about working to live, what does that phrase mean to you, Jenny? How do you interpret it, and what kind of mindset does it represent?
That's a great starting point, Tony. For me, working to live means that your job, your career, is primarily a means to an end. It's how you earn money to support your lifestyle, your family, your hobbies, your dreams, basically everything you do outside of work. Your work enables your life, but it doesn't necessarily define it. So people who work to live might see their job as something they do from, say, 9 to 5. And then the rest of their time, their evenings, weekends, and holidays, are for their true passions. Family, friends, or just relaxing and recharging. Their happiness isn't completely tied to their job title or their professional achievements. It's more about the freedom and opportunities that their work provides them with. They might enjoy their job, but it's not their entire identity.
I see. So the job is a tool, not the ultimate goal itself. That makes a lot of sense. And what about the other side of the coin? Living to work. What does that look like, in your opinion, and what kind of person might fit into that category?
Okay, living to work is quite different, isn't it? When someone lives to work, their job, their career, is often the central focus of their life. It's where they derive most of their purpose, their identity, and sometimes even their social life. They might work very long hours, often thinking about work even when they're not physically there. Their professional achievements are incredibly important to them. These people might be very ambitious, driven, and passionate about what they do. For them, work isn't just a way to earn money. It's a source of fulfillment, excitement, and personal growth. They might even say their hobby is their work, or that they don't feel like they're working because they enjoy it so much. Think about entrepreneurs, or people in highly competitive fields like medicine or research. Sometimes they truly live for their work.
That's a very clear distinction. It sounds like living to work isn't necessarily a negative thing if you're truly passionate, right? Some people, like you said, find immense joy and purpose in their careers. It's not always about being a workaholic in a negative sense, but more about deep dedication. What do you think about that, Jenny? Is there a point where living to work can become unhealthy, even if you love your job?
That's a super important point, Tony. You're right, it's not always negative. If you're passionate about your work and it brings you genuine happiness and fulfillment, then living to work can be incredibly rewarding. Think of artists, scientists, or even teachers who pour their heart and soul into their craft or profession. For them, work is a calling, not just a job. However, the potential danger comes when it's asterisk all you do, and you neglect other important aspects of your life. When your physical health suffers because you're constantly stressed or not sleeping enough, or your relationships with family and friends fade because you never have time for them, or when you lose all your hobbies and interests outside of work. That's when living to work can cross the line into an unhealthy obsession, even if you love what you do. Balance is key, even for the most passionate.
Yeah, balance. That seems to be the golden word here. I remember a friend of mine, let's call him Mark. He was a brilliant software engineer, absolutely loved coding. He would work 12, sometimes 14 hours a day, even on weekends. He said he enjoyed it, and he was very successful, but he rarely saw his family, and he stopped going to his weekly football game. After a few years, he looked really tired, and he just seemed, a bit sad actually. Even though he was doing what he loved, the lack of balance really affected him. He eventually took a sabbatical, a long break, because he felt completely burned out. So even passion can't prevent burnout if there's no balance, right?
Exactly, Tony. Mark's story is a classic example. Passion can fuel you for a long time, but it doesn't make you immune to exhaustion or the need for a diverse life. Our brains and bodies need rest, different kinds of stimulation, and connection with others. If your entire identity is wrapped up in your job, what happens if something goes wrong at work? Or if you lose your job? It can be absolutely devastating, because you haven't built a strong foundation of other interests and relationships. For me, a personal story. About 5 years ago, I was working in marketing, and I was so driven. I wanted to prove myself, get promotions, and I was constantly checking emails, even on holiday. My family would complain that I was always distracted. One day, my younger sister just looked at me and said, "Jenny, you're always busy, but are you happy?" That question it hit me hard. It made me realize I was so focused on climbing the ladder that I wasn't really living my life. It was a big wake-up call for me.
Wow, that's a powerful moment when someone you care about points out something you might not have seen yourself. So, after that wake-up call, what did you do? How did you start to shift from living to work, if that's what you were doing, towards working to live, or at least finding a better balance?
It wasn't easy, Tony, because changing habits is hard. But the first thing I did was start setting boundaries. Simple things, like not checking work emails after 7 p.m., and definitely not on weekends. At first, I felt a bit anxious, thinking, what if I miss something important? But you know what? Most things could wait until the next morning. I also started scheduling things that weren't work-related into my calendar, just like I would schedule a meeting. So if I wanted to go for a run, or read a book, or meet a friend for coffee, it went on my calendar. This made me treat my personal time as just as important as my work time. I also started saying no more often to extra projects that weren't absolutely necessary, which was also really difficult for me because I always wanted to please everyone. It sounds simple, but it made a huge difference. Slowly, I started feeling less overwhelmed and more in control of my own life.
That's fantastic advice, Jenny. Scheduling personal time is something I've heard many successful people recommend, and it really reframes how you view your non-work activities. They become priorities, not afterthoughts. I try to do that too. For me, my kids are a big reason I prioritize. Working to live. I love my job as a podcast host, but I also love being present for them. So, for instance, every evening, no matter how busy I am, I put away my phone and laptop for dinner time and for an hour before they go to bed. That's our family time, and it's non-negotiable. Sometimes I have to finish work later, but those moments with them are so precious, and they truly recharge me for the next day. It helps me remember why I'm working so hard in the first place.
Oh, that's beautiful, Tony. And it perfectly illustrates the working to live mindset. You're working for, Nendanu, your family, seem 10 for those precious moments, not just for the sake of working. It gives your work a deeper purpose beyond just the tasks themselves. I think many parents especially understand this balance very well because their motivation comes from providing for their children and being there for them. And it's not just about family. It could be for a hobby, like painting or hiking, or saving up for a big trip. The idea is that work is a vehicle that takes you to a place you want to be in your personal life.
Exactly. And sometimes it's about realizing that work isn't everything. I remember a time when I was so focused on a big project, I barely noticed spring had arrived. My wife pointed out, "Tony, have you even looked outside? The trees are blooming." And I was like, oh, right. It was a bit of a funny, but also a sad moment, because I was missing out on the simple beauty of life. It made me realize that sometimes we need to consciously step away and appreciate the world around us. It's not just about big trips or family time, but also about the small, everyday joys that work can make us forget.
That's so true, Tony. It's those small moments, isn't it? The smell of fresh coffee in the morning, a walk in the park, listening to your favorite music, or just having a quiet evening. When you're constantly living and breathing work, those moments can just pass you by, unnoticed. And life is made up of these small moments, not just big achievements. It's about being present, I think. I had a similar experience when I realized I hadn't gone for a walk in my local park, which I used to love, for months. I was always too tired or felt I should be working. But when I finally went and felt the fresh air and saw the trees, I felt so much better. It wasn't a huge activity, but it recharged me more than any extra hour of work ever could.
Yeah, those small acts of self-care are so important. So for our listeners, what are some practical tips you would offer if they feel they are leaning too much towards living to work and want to find more balance, or if they want to ensure their working to live mindset is truly enriching their life?
Okay, absolutely. I have a few key takeaways based on what we've discussed. Firstly, I would say, define your why, asterisk, asterisk. Why are you working? Is it to support your family? To travel? To buy a house? To pursue a hobby? Knowing your clear motivation for working will help you put work in perspective. If your why is purely external, like just earning money, you might find it hard to feel fulfilled. But if it connects to something deeper, like building a secure future for your loved ones, or funding a passion project, it gives your work more meaning and helps you see it as a stepping stone to your life goals, rather than the goal itself. This why can be a powerful reminder when you feel overwhelmed.
That's excellent. Define your why. It's about connecting your daily tasks to your bigger life vision. What's the second point, Jenny?
My second point is, set clear boundaries. This is crucial. Decide what your work hours are and stick to them as much as possible. This means no emails, no work calls, no thinking about work outside those hours. Turn off notifications if you need to. It's about protecting your personal time. If you work from home, maybe create a dedicated workspace that you can leave at the end of the day. For example, my friend used to put on work clothes for work and then change into home clothes when she finished her work for the day. It sounds simple, but it mentally separates work from home life, helping her switch off and truly relax. And it's important to communicate these boundaries to your colleagues or boss if possible, so they understand and respect your time. It's not being lazy. It's about being productive during your work hours so you can fully disengage afterwards.
Oh, that's a clever trick. The work clothes thing. It creates a physical and mental separation, which is so important, especially now with so many people working remotely. And your third takeaway?
My third and final point is prioritize self-care and hobbies. Make time for things you love that have nothing to do with work. Whether it's reading a book, going for a walk, spending time with friends and family, exercising, or pursuing a creative hobby like painting or playing an instrument, schedule these activities into your week and treat them like important appointments. Remember Tony's example about missing spring? Don't let that happen to you. These activities are not a waste of time. They are essential for your mental health, your happiness, and your overall well-being. They recharge you, prevent burnout, and give you a more rounded and fulfilling life. A healthy body and mind will actually make you more productive when you start working too.
Fantastic. Define your why, set clear boundaries, and prioritize self-care and hobbies. Those are really actionable steps that our listeners can take today. Jenny, this has been such an insightful and important conversation. I think many people listening, regardless of their current situation, will benefit from reflecting on these ideas. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your wisdom with us.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Tony. Thank you for inviting me. I really hope this conversation helps someone out there think a little differently about their relationship with work and encourages them to find more joy and balance in their lives. Remember, life is not just about earning a living. It's about living a life you truly love. So go out there and live it.
What a perfect way to end. And to all our listeners, we hope today's episode on Do You Work to Live or Live to Work has given you some valuable insights and practical tips. We encourage you to reflect on your own life and find your ideal balance. Remember, learning English is just like finding balance in life. It's a journey, and every step counts. Keep practicing, keep listening, and keep living fully. You can find more resources and past episodes on our YouTube channel, Learning English with Podcast Conversation. Join us next time for another engaging discussion. Until then, take care and keep learning.